Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to the Mike Wagner Show at gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the Donate Listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which means right from your phone or computer. We got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. Also on Stitcher FM, and take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device, and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with a wonderful country singer, born and raised in San Antonio, now in Nashville, as it goes back and forth from the Music City over the Lone Star territory. Is a self-taught guitarist and writer, and awarded the 2011 Texas Music Award. And he's got an album out which has been doing pretty good, and a couple of hits involving bluebirds, including one to hit number 2. He's been nominated for quite a number of festivals he's been in, and also likes to really get the word out, just play from his heart, and of course, he just has a really unique personality. So, ladies and gentlemen, live from the Music City in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee, the very unique Jeremy Parsons. Jeremy, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
All of the same back to you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, anytime. So you're born and raised in San Antonio, Texas, country singer. You've been self-taught for quite a number of years, guitarist and writer. You're awarded the 2011 Texas Music Award, and now you're in Nashville, and you've also got an album called Things I Need to Say, and you got a couple of singles involving bluebirds, and nominated for quite a few fests involving film. And before we get into all that, tell us how I got started.
Well, basically, I started a little later than most. People that I've heard, friends with, and everything. I picked up a guitar when I was 17. Just was looking for a different hobby, and there was a guitar laying around. Not a very good one. I think that's how most of those stories starts. Is you gotta start somewhere. I guess that's where that comes from. But there was a not very good sounding guitar sitting around, and so I just started playing it, and I was like, I bet if I keep practicing, I can make someone buy me one that sounds a little bit better than this. So by the time I was 18, I'd really gotten good at it, and then my dad proposed the idea that I try to write a song. I think I was complaining about some kind of school project, and he was like, "Well, you love music. Why don't you try to write a poem about the project?" And I think that's where it all started. So. Played guitar when I was 17, wrote my first song when I was 18, and I think I played my first writer's night or open mic, played my first original music show when I was 18 as well.
Wow, that is something. And of course, it really doesn't matter to me, when you start and how you start. It's just a matter of getting there as well, too. And what was the one moment that actually influenced you to getting into guitar and music? The precise moment.
Yeah, that would be tough. I can remember being at a show when I was in high school. I believe it was Pat Green. He was playing at a place called Floor's Country Store, which is right on the outskirts of San Antonio. And I remember watching him just like up there, like yelling at the crowd and playing songs and thinking like, wow, this would actually be like a really fun thing to be able to do. To have that personality and that draw and just like get to like entertain all these people and have them entertain you back. I think that for me was probably when I was like, oh man, I could probably do something like that, or at least try.
Mm-hmm. And who are some of your favorite artists and singers growing up?
I was a really big George Strait fan, still am, of course, because he lived like right down the road there. In Bernie, Texas, and always loved Hank Williams Sr. He's always been a classic in my household, and a lot of the songwriter guys, like Guy Clark is another great example. He's another Texan, and John Prine was always a big influence of mine. Another big songwriter guy. I grew up predominantly listening to like the older traditional style stuff, but I've always liked all kinds of music.
Mm-hmm. And of course, also as well, too, that you also think about with the classic country you have, and what do you think about today's country?
I mean, I got a lot of friends who make that stuff, but I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest with you. I require something with more substance, as far as not like copy and paste lyrics about, the same old things over and over again. But like, they're doing well with it, and it's what they enjoy making. To me, like the most important thing, I think, even if I don't really believe in a song, like if the person singing it is a good person, then I can still get behind it.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, speaking of people as well, too, who are some of the most famous people you've interacted when it came to country music?
Oh, man, George Jones is probably at the top of that list. I got to open a show for him in Houston, Texas, at the Arena Theater, which is always a really... That'll always be very important to me. One, because it was George Jones, and two, because, it was George Jones. No, but I'm joking. But but like no one else is really going to get to, open for George Jones anymore, unfortunately, since he passed on. But another great one that I got to meet and was really good to me was Little Jimmy Dickens. Yeah, he helped me promote my first record and kind of put me on the map, to be honest with you, which was very nice of him. I mean, he I think he was like, he had to be pushing like 88 or 89 when he did that.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a good dude. I mean, I was a big fan of him too, because he was, he knew Hank Williams Sr. Like they were doing stuff at the same time. So he was a hero who got to meet some more of my heroes. So he just had such great stories, and he was so funny.
As amazing, talk about Little Jimmy Dickens, and he and Hank Williams Sr. Playing together. According to the Little Jimmy Dickens, what was it like working and playing with Hank Williams Sr., according to his words?
He said he was funny. Like that, one of my favorite stories was the song "Hey Good Looking," like which was a big hit for Hank. Hank had originally. And Little Jimmy told this story. He told it in you could tell he was bitter about it, but he still loved him. It was one of those kind of stories. So it was just hilarious. But apparently Hank Williams Sr. had started writing "Hey Good Looking" for Little Jimmy Dickens, and then finished the song and kept it. He said it was too good. I kept it for myself. I was like. The Little Jimmy was always kind of like jokingly bitter about that, but it was, he did it. It came from a place of respect, of course.
and of course, we thought that he was referring to maybe one of Hank Williams Sr.'s many girlfriends or some, inspiring your cheating heart. That's what makes me think of it, kind of like an offshoot.
Yeah. Hank he was in a bad relationship, and had a drinking problem and stuff. It was he was just such a deep individual and such a great writer. But it was funny that I always loved that, because little Jimmy always had nothing but nice things to say about him, because he always saw him at him. He saw him at the highs and the low points. So it was cool. He was a good dude.
That's amazing, too. And, of course, you talk about the famous singers that influence you. And who are some of the famous people in history that you're most fascinated by, and why?
Famous people just like all around?
Mm-hmm.
Or in music specifically?
It can be in history. And it doesn't have to be music, yes.
Man, that's a good question. I think I don't know much about any of it, but like Leonardo da Vinci and like creators like that, anyone who created something, painters like like the Monets and the Picassos and stuff like that. I've always been a big fan of like people who had such a distinct expression to whatever they created, like that individuality and that uniqueness, for lack of a better word. I've always really respected that. I guess that's a form of art. I'm very much inspired by art, and in the sense of thinking of the quote that art breeds art. Mm-hmm. I think that's very true. Like, you can look at something visually and it can inspire a sound, or you can play music to a scene that is inaudible, and it can create an emotion around it. So I've always looked up to inventors and creators of some kind.
That is amazing, too. And, of course, speaking of creating sound and having a unique sound, how would you describe your sound when it comes to putting out your albums and music?
Well, genre-wise, I would say I'm truest to the form Americana. The Americana scene is widely popular these days, and I think that I slide very, very much in there. But I mean, it's basically Americana or alternative country with very, very folk and traditional country influenced sounds and textures. Mm-hmm. 'Cause, I mean, that's just what I grew up listening to, and I love doing walk downs like Jimmy Rogers used to play and stuff like that. So I mean, all that is infused in whatever I create.
Mm-hmm. That is fascinating as well, too. We'll talk about your album, a couple of tunes, including a couple of Bluebirds. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. Also on Stitcher, and take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device, and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with country singer Jeremy Parsons, born and raised in San Antonio, now living in Nashville, going back and forth from the Music City to the Lone Star State, and he was a self-taught guitarist and writer at a fairly young age, around 17 or 18. He was awarded the 2011 Texas Music Award, and let's talk about his album called Things I Need to Say, and let's hear more about it.
Yeah, that's the record, I love the title of that record, because it kind of just says it all. Like that's the title track off it as well. But I wrote that song, and it was one of those moments where I was like, oh, that's it. That's the title. I mean, this record is nothing but a compilation of feelings and stuff I was going through at that point in my life, and I was able to express with a gift that was given to me, that is like the ability to take what I'm feeling and put it to song. So it was, that record meant a lot to me, because I feel like whether I knew it or not at the time, like I really needed to make that, like for my own for my own health. Yeah, but it means a lot because I was dealing, life happens to everybody out there. My parents got a divorce after like 48 years of marriage.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you. And I had lost like a management deal and was in this like really weird transitional phase, and it was kind of like the cliche term exists, when it rains it pours, because it happens. So it's luckily I had people around me that were encouraging me to like still create even when I was like kind of down about it, and we ended up just making this record, and it was super necessary, and it's been something that's been like really fun to promote and stuff, and like work through all these highs and lows with an audience that actually has been reciprocating, like as far as like walking up to me after a show and being like, man, they burned this house down or whatever, the first single. A lot of people were very much like, man, I've been in that situation before, that's so tough, thank you for writing this song. And I'm like, dude, heck yeah. It's like I kind of wrote it for me, but like it's I think everyone, they have these situations that occur and they write based on that emotion, and then when other people are able to connect with it too, that makes it like just even more important to you. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing. Speaking about Burn This House Down, just tell us about what the song is all about.
So that song, I wrote that. I went home for the first time after I went from Nashville to San Antonio for the first time since my parents' divorce, which it all seemed like it happened so fast, and I was unfortunately really busy at the time. But the first time I went home, it was, you grow up in a place. My dad still lives in the house that I was raised in, so you're so used to a specific setting and like people being there when you walk through the door, and that song is about walking through the door for the first time since a big change has occurred, and those people, like not all the same people being there being like a specific vacancy in the house, and how are you supposed to deal with that? Like, what do you do? Like, you're confronted with this like emotion that you can choose to ignore and let build up, but that song's about metaphorically working through it, as in like, I can't do anything to fix this because it's so broken, I might as well just start fresh. So you burn the house down and start fresh from the ashes.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you also have a song that made #2 on the Hits You Love charts. It's called Why is the Bluebird Blue? And you can just tell us about that, and maybe you can answer the question, why is the Bluebird blue?
Yeah, it's actually kind of like, it's like one of those like, what light through yonder window breaks type of questions. It never goes like into further detail. I'm sure if you Google it, it's like a pigment thing, but that song is that's probably one of my, I don't know, that's always tough. That's one of my favorite songs I've ever written, for sure. It's like probably one of the naturaliest, like easiest songs for me to play.
Okay.
Like I enjoy it. I could play that song in my sleep, and I don't know why that is, but it's just like I love the chord changes in it and everything, and it's just got a very poetic flow to it, which doesn't always come out of me like that. It sometimes it's more conversational, but this whenever I was writing this, I was on one or something that day, because it's almost got, it's filled. I like it. I like singing, I think, because it's filled with it's just got a lot of, what am I looking for? Alliteration. That's what it is. Filled with alliteration. And it's just so fun it's almost like just an exercise. But I really enjoy the song. And the story behind this song is actually just, it's funny. My best friend, the guy who does all my music videos and takes all my pictures and travels with me sometimes, we were sitting on his back porch, and I was playing. He's got a Takamine guitar that I really love, and I was just over there picking on it. And he goes, "Hey man, look at that bluebird," because I like birds, like I like nature and stuff like that. So I was like, "Man, that's a blue jay." I was like, and so, but for some reason on the way home, when when I was leaving his place, Bluebird was just stuck in my head. I was like, it's like, why is the blue jay blue? I was like, that doesn't sound as cool. It's like, why is the bluebird blue? Like, I was like, triple B's there we go, knock it out. So it stuck with me, and I went home and I sat down and I wrote it, and I'm glad it made the record. It wasn't actually originally supposed to be on there, but I had a bunch of people who, fans at shows, I told them I was making a new record, and they asked me if that one was going to be on it, and I said, no, it didn't really make the cut, and then a few of them threatened my life. So I went back in the studio, and I was like, I think we should probably cut this, or I might actually die. They seem pretty serious. But I'm glad we did.
Well, we're glad it came up number 2 as well, too. And since you got your guitar, and why don't you go ahead and play a verse or two of that song? I love to hear it. Or we do, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here we go. Why is it Bluebird Blue?
Look out my window, what do I see? A little bluebird looking back at me. He sings a song all alone in his nest, and I wonder if he's singing about loneliness. Yeah, tell me, why is the bluebird blue? Is a song he sings a somber tune? Does he feel like I feel since I lost you? Well, tell me, why is the bluebird blue?
Amazing. Wow. Why is it Bluebird Blue? Oh, gosh. Try saying that 10 times fast. Number 2 on the hits you love, and that is fantastic, Jeremy. And where can people purchase that song as well as your album?
They can find it on Spotify. They can purchase it on iTunes and all the other platforms as far as digital downloads and stuff go. And also, of course, my website is a great place to look, which is JeremyParsonsMusic.com.
That is amazing. And, of course, we'll talk about you being nominated for in a few film fests as well, too. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without break-even budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. Also take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here at San Antonio. Born and raised country singer Jeremy Parsons, now living in Nashville, Tennessee, a self-taught guitarist and writer, awarded the 2011 Texas Music Award, and you also were nominated for Jersey Shore Film Fest, the Indie's Best Films, and Monkey Bread Tree Fest. You can also just tell us more about these film fests your videos got nominated in.
Yeah, the Film Fest thing has been cool. There's like so many aspects of your industry that you don't like think about like pursuing, like so many avenues that you could go down to try to get like notoriety or like or an attention paid to a specific product. And the film festivals was something that had eluded me for years. And then Michael Stover, who I believe set this up and he works his butt off for so many people out there. So take a second to send out a shout out to him for all that he does. But it was his idea, and he submits those, and most of the time they get picked up. I mean, which is always nice because I feel like we always work so hard on music videos and finished products and stuff like that. So it's nice to have like I said, another avenue that it can be noticed on.
That is amazing too. You also got awarded the 2011 Texas Music Award. You can just tell us all about that one. That's going to be very special for you.
Oh, it was a huge deal. It was one of those things. I got nominated, and I don't really remember submitting to it or how if they just liked my stuff so much. But I was actually one of the funniest parts about it was that I wasn't actually there to receive it. Like, I had to pick it up when I passed back through Texas because we were actually in Norway playing shows.
Oh my gosh, Norway! You're popular in Norway? I didn't know that.
Yeah, my music does really well overseas, which has always been fun. I can't afford to get over there as much as I'd like, of course. But every time we've gone, which has been twice so far, that it's been so well received. So it's always flattering. Yeah, but we were playing like 2 weeks of shows over there. And I didn't actually get to make it back in time to receive the award. But it was a huge honor. I was actually nominated in 2 categories.
Wow.
That year, and 1 for 1, which was really cool. But apparently they did like a whole like presentation on me, and I wasn't even there, so like I felt super bad. But yeah, I mean, it was still such a huge honor. It hangs in my house, and it's something that makes me happy every time I see it.
That is a big award, and congratulations from all of us, the Mike Wagner Show, over to you for winning that award.
Thank you.
No problem. And also, you've been popular in Norway, as you mentioned, been there a couple of times. What are some of the other places you're considered quite popular, even like in the United States? What cities and other countries?
I do well in Texas, of course, which is always good news. But the Montana, we've had some fun up there, like that Wyoming, Montana area is always really good to me. California it was pretty good to me, which is nice. A lot of the southern states, like Mississippi, Louisiana, Missouri's been really nice. South Dakota's been really cool. Even did some stuff up in New York, which is really fun. Which is a newer scene for me. I usually don't get out of the southern states very much. London, my stuff does really well. I've yet to play. I spent a little time over there, but we didn't get to play any shows, unfortunately. And Canada's actually been really good. I think I had a song chart on their mainstream country charts like years upon years ago.
Wow.
It was only up there for like 1 week, but it was still nice.
and what song was that?
I think it was Bluebird.
Oh, it was? Okay. I thought you had to know the song for some reason. You know, that was like a while back, and I thought, oh, I know you had another hit.
Yeah, I think that was it. It was at the very top of the deal. Like, it just showed up for a day. Like, my friend sent it to me who lives up there, because I don't have Canadian iTunes is set up differently, so the charts are locational, I believe.
So they're just set up a little different, unlike the U.S., U.K., and wherever else.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it tracks wherever you are locationally. So, like, I couldn't see the charts, like, on my phone. So she sent them to me, and it was very nice. But, yeah, it's always random and surprising. I think it's surprising, like, whenever you put anything out and, like, you know, anybody likes it. That's always like the nicest thing ever.
That's got to be amazing too. And what do you consider your most interesting or memorable story?
The most memorable story, it was definitely the funniest, and which I guess therefore makes it one of the most memorable. I talked earlier about opening for George Jones in Houston. I had an incident with him where I was on stage and I had just finished my last song, and I was like, did this big thank you to the crowd and gave this big speech about how much of an honor and a pleasure it was. And I was wearing my in-ears, which is what we wear on stage, so we can hear, like, if the sound guy needs to tell us anything or anything like that kicks off. he comes over my in-ears. He pushes the talkback button. He goes, "Hey, man, I know you just did your last song, and I'm super sorry, but George Jones is in his tour bus still, and he wants to finish watching the football game. Do you think you'd mind playing?" Yeah.
George Jones watching football? I thought he was going to stop and take the stage. And I can imagine, wait, there's a 2-minute warning. Hold on. They're going to go for the touchdown, kick a field goal. Just wait.
Yeah, for real. Well, if the game went into overtime and you were opening, I talked to some other artists later, and apparently that was there's a group of us that has that story. There's some of us, because if the football game went into overtime, he wasn't going to miss it.
Oh no! And I can imagine. Well, the game just went into overtime, folks. Let's sing Bluebird, and everybody can sing along, and maybe request for Freebird or something. So I can imagine that.
Yeah, it was funny. It's one of those things. I love telling that story. Because, like I said, he was such an icon,
Oh, that is too good. I have to say that. That is too good. It's so funny. I loved it. All right, we just have a couple more minutes here. And who do you consider biggest influence in your music career, Jeremy?
That's a really good question. I think George Strait's always been a prime example, but if I'm speaking currently, there's a younger dude named Jason Isbell. He's an Americana artist as well, a singer-songwriter, and I've enjoyed watching his progress and watching him grow as an artist, a writer, and a performer. It's been a very inspirational. He suffered with alcoholism and sobered up and just really took flight after that. And it's one of those things that it's really beautiful to see, and it's been an inspiration. And I enjoy watching him, like I said, grow in all those aspects, but also just he's just a good, intelligent, nice guy.
Mm-hmm. So. Very fascinating. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Anybody just doing this or starting out, or
it can be either way.
Okay, I would say the best advice is advice I give. I guess it's good for any and all ages, but if you want to do this, make dang sure that it is exactly what you want to do, because it's not glamorous. Like you're not going to make $1 million in your first 2 years, maybe not in your first 5, but know that this is exactly what you want to do, and know who you are when you start doing it. Take the time to figure yourself out, figure out who you want to be as an artist. Because once you figure that out, all you're going to do is grow. Like no one can change you, no one can stop you. All you're going to do is keep going.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fantastic advice too. We're here with Jeremy Parsons, San Antonio born and raised country singer, now living in Nashville. He's got the new album out with a couple singles. Jeremy, I'd like to thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Love to have you on. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase your music?
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me on. I'd love to come back anytime you'd like to have me back. This has been a pleasure. And y'all can find me at jeremyparsonsmusic.com. I'll be posting some stuff up there. I'm in the process of working on a brand new record, which will, if everything goes as planned, will be out sometime next year in 2020. I'll be posting some tour dates up there. I'll be back in Texas in December and January, and maybe even further than that. So keep checking at my website. I'll have new dates posted and new info and just a whole bunch of new shenanigans.
That's fantastic. Jeremy, just want to say a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you on back in soon. And do us a favor, keep this up to date.
You've got a deal, man. You do the same.
Thanks Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program and or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.